This is our hole. This is a size 14 shoe. So this is about 3.5 feet wide by 3 feet deep in the center. It's kind of a cone shape or a bowl shape. This is pretty sandy soil, so I wanted to put good soil in it. Here's the soil I'm putting in it. I just got this from the woods in my backyard. So this is much better quality. It's much darker than that. So I'm gonna actually just fill this. You're supposed to do 50% native, 50% that. But because these trees aren't that big, I think that just filling that all with the real good soil, it's from the same yard, it shouldn't be that different. I think the roots will be just fine. And plus that's a deep, big enough hole to where even if the roots are like, I'm just chilling in this area, I don't want to go any further, that's not really that bad because that's still pretty deep. So I'm just gonna go ahead and do that because this soil is pretty bad. I got all these holes already cut out. I already did some little trees here. These I did much smaller holes and much smaller little trees, mainly as placeholders, just little graftings. But my real fruit trees came here, and I'm gonna start planting these. I got all kinds of stuff. I got sugar pear, Stanley plum, nectarine, producer plum, Navajo thornless blackberry, apple tree. I got Gala apple, and I also got a Fuji apple on the way. Here's Georgia peach, here's Alberta peach. This is for zone 5, so those are all zone 5 appropriate. I thought I should take note of how they did this because it's pretty interesting. These are water crystals, and then it's all wrapped in plastic and then tape. And there's a layer of kind of like newspaper material here. So it's water crystals on the roots themselves, then newspaper material, then plastic, then tape. So that's a pretty cool system. Everyone loves it. I took a picture of the box too. I can add that later. So if I ever decide to sell some cuttings that I get to root from these trees later on, I can actually sell. And these are like you could sell for like $50, including shipping. So you'll make like $30. Might be worth it. It's kind of a lot of work to package it. The profit margins are pretty low, and everyone's just looking for the cheapest price possible. Otherwise, they probably wouldn't be even growing their own trees. They would just like not do anything if they, I don't know, like people that grow their own fruit trees are being cheap because they want to save money on fruit, right? That's why I'm doing it. Because I spend like, my wife and I together spend like $2,000 a year on fruit, which is about like $180 a month. My friend said that's not even that bad because of how bad fruit prices are right now, but yeah. So anyways, I'm gonna plant this and get this all going. So I guess I can get a tripod for you guys to watch though. Well, man, I don't even know. I don't even think I should bother because then I gotta get my charger and blah blah blah. I'll just do little updates. How about that? Because this is, my channel's not supposed to be a gardening channel full blown. You know, I want to show you guys a little bit of cool side projects like this, but I'm not trying to like get all carried away in that. Mainly car repair, then some Bible teaching videos because I believe in the Bible and it's really important to me. So it's kind of an obligation to talk about the Bible sometimes, I feel, at this point. And then I want to get back to like robotics and cool stuff like that. Since this isn't really tech related, I mean, I showed you guys what the plan is. I showed you the size of the hole. I showed you what the trees are. I showed you what I'm going to do. Actually planting them and stomping it down, it's like, I don't think I have to get that deep into that. So maybe I'll show you guys that part once we get to it. But for now, I'm just going to get going. All right. All right, boys. Another 3 foot by 3 foot bowl, about 3 feet deep. And here's my wheelbarrow. I'm just filling that up with all the dirt and then dumping it in the woods in my house. Here's what I'm starting. You can see I mark it with spray paint in a perfect circle, and I already pre-lined them up in advance so they make a nice line. I don't even know if it picks up on camera, but there's spray paint circles the whole way. And I got enough to do 19 trees, but I only bought 11 trees. So I think these ones along the back of the yard, I'll do melons until next year. I'll plant the rest of these as trees. So I'm thinking like watermelons and cantaloupe and honeydew would be kind of cool to put on trellises for this back section. Our soil is mostly garbage sand. It's not too bad back here, but it's a lot more sandy as you move away from the trees, kind of foresty area in the backyard. Also, as you can see, there's a lot of shade. It's not even noon yet, and there's already shade covering this all the way up in this area. So I'm gonna actually go up in these trees and cut down a whole bunch of stuff. I'm gonna have to climb the trees with all my rock climbing gear and cut down branches. It's called tree climbing arborism. That can be an actual job. So I'm just dumping all the grass and junk out in the woods behind my house. And in the woods in another area, you can see there's no grass back here. It's all up in the trees. And you can see there's just moss and like a little ditch. And I was like, I bet you that's got some rich stuff, because it's like a compost heap of just rotting sludge that's very fertile, growing all this stuff. And so I started digging out the side of the ditch, and look at how black this stuff is. There's a million earthworms and all kinds of stuff. And I'm using this right by trees, junk trees. I'm using this as my compost / topsoil mixture. It's super rich, and I'm filling my sandy holes with this stuff, so this will make sure my trees will grow really nicely. So in other words, everything's going really good, and I'm excited about it. I think I'm doing a good job, and I saved a ton of money. And then the one other money saving tip, so now I'm not, like with all these holes, the way I'm digging them all deep and stuff, it would have cost like $300 worth of compost and topsoil. And so I just saved that huge amount of money. And you can see I dug out all the holes here today. Boom. Boom. I'm digging all the holes first and then planting the trees. And then here's a nice little tree. This one is nectarine. Look at how I'm saving money by using dead grass. My dad's been dumping grass clippings in the woods rather than throwing them in the trash, which is kind of a ghetto thing to do. And it's paying off for me. He didn't even think of it ever being used. He just thought, oh, it'll just turn into dirt someday. And I'm using it as my compost. And I did some research, and grass compost is just as good, if not better, than wood chips. So I don't even have to go buy wood chips. Plus, some of that wood chips is dyed cedar, and that dye can then get into your food supply and whatever, and it can be toxic, and you don't know what they put in that stuff. So this is all natural, and we don't even put fertilizer or anything in our grass. It's just wild grass, complete with weeds and little flowers and stuff. So it's super good as compost, and that'll lock the moisture in. And I'm also going to do a drip irrigation system. I'm going to run it so it's like, I'm going to start here, work my way to here, Go to there, all the way along, and then all the way back, and then across, and then back. So I'll do a big U with 1/2 inch line. And I'm also going to put a Venturi fertilizer injector system so that as the water is running, it will be drawing fertilizer out of a 5-gallon bucket, mixing it in like 10% or whatever. And I can do all the math on that. And so with that system, I can not only fertilize, but also water everything. And you don't really have to fertilize, but I'm just going to put some liquid fertilizer in with the water just to help out, make the trees grow faster and better, whatever. All right, so peace out, guys. Also, I probably won't fertilize. Well, I might have to fertilize because now that I'm doing the melons in the back, unless if I just trust that super rich soil is, that super rich soil is probably good enough for a year without fertilizer. So I'll probably not even fertilize. All right, peace out.